This presentation is designed to provide you with the background knowledge you will need in order to influence digital citizenship in your classroom. Let's start with the laws. We are governed by two major laws, the first being the Children's Internet Protection Act, known as CIPA. This law was enacted by Congress in 2000 to address concerns about children's access to obscene or harmful content over the Internet. Later, in 2008, the Children in the 21st Century Act, addressing how to educate students, was enacted. CIPA certification came about when a program called E-Rate was established. E-Rate is a program that makes certain communication services and products more affordable for eligible schools and libraries. In early 2001, the FCC issued rules implementing CIPA and providing updates again to those rules in 2001. What CIPA required for schools and libraries wanting to receive these discounted funds was to certify that they had established technology protection measures in place to filter the Internet, specifically for pictures that were obscene, child pornography, or harmful to the minors. The second element was to have a board-approved Internet safety policy. Before adopting this policy, schools and libraries had to hold at least one public hearing or meeting to address the proposal. Schools subject to CIPA had two additional certification requirements. Their Internet safety policy had to include monitoring the online activities of minors and, as required by the 2008 second governing law protecting children in the 21st Century Act, districts were responsible to educate minors about the appropriate online behavior, including interacting with other individuals on social networking websites and in chat rooms, including cyberbullying awareness and response. School districts were required to collect documentation that every student has received this type of education. Now let's move to the acceptable use policy. That's where most of the details in terms of what kids can and cannot do comes into play. You're going to do an internet search on either acceptable use or internet safety policies in order to find some out there on the internet if you are not in a school district that has one. Schools and libraries subject to the CIPA are required to adopt and implement an internet safety policy, and that policy must address the following elements: how they're controlling access by minors to inappropriate matter on the internet, how they're going to monitor and ensure the safety and security of minors when using electronic mail, chat rooms, and other forms of direct electronic communication. It has to address consequences for unauthorized access, including so-called hacking and other activities by minors. It has to identify unauthorized disclosure, use, and dissemination of personal information regarding minors. And finally, it has to measure restricting minors' access to material that's harmful to them. Schools and libraries must certify that they are in compliance with the CIPA before they can receive E-Rate funding. So with these three elements in place, the CIPA, E-Rate to reduce funding for our already budget-strapped schools, and the policies in place to guide the behavior